Oh, listen to my voice. Are you hypnotized? Holy shit! I'm gonna butter your bread like a baby back bitch.
What up, you fluffy bastards? My name is Liquid Blitz, and today we're going to look at the damage range for every single weapon in PUBG. Now, like some of the more realistic games out there, in PUBG, weapons start to actually lose damage beyond a certain range, and they keep falling in damage until it hits like a minimum damage value forever, if you see what I mean. Now, each weapon has different distances when the damage starts to fall and stops falling, which is the point of this video, so we can see which weapons are better for long-range fighting. As is my usual style, here is all the stats and info already on screen for you to view at your leisure, cause I know not everyone wants to listen to me, although I don't know why, cause I'm so damn interesting. The gameplay above me isn't actually related, by the way, it's just there because why not have some PUBG gameplay in a PUBG video? Now, onto the subject at hand. All these ranges you can see on the screen, I actually worked out myself, but they're all based on data mine stats from a third party. There's links in the description for all the sources that I used. So, without further ado, let's look at these stats. For each weapon, you have the distance when the damage starts to fall, and the full weapon damage until that distance is in green in the brackets. The damage then falls slowly over a long distance until this second distance you see here. And then in red in the next brackets, that is the minimum damage the weapon will do at this distance and beyond. Now, this second distance, when the damage stops falling, it might look oddly specific. And that, for example, the Kar98 and Winchester, I mean, their damage falls all the way to 486 and 488 meters, I've worked out. Technically, I'm sure that's actually 500 meters, but to one decimal place, you don't see any difference past 486 and 488. I've been super specific with those values. So my numbers are basically when the damage has realistically stopped falling, and I like being realistic and specific. So anyway, let's just go through the weapons pretty quick. I mean, first of all, at the top we have the bolt action snipers, which naturally have the longest range, and predictably, the AWM has the best range of any weapon in the game. It only starts losing damage at 150 meters, which is a long distance, and it finally hits the minimum of its damage at 700 meters, so the AWM is epic for long range. The next best is the M24 from 120 meters to 580, not quite as good, but still pretty damn good. And then the Kar98 and Winchester, which have the same range, actually. They start losing damage at exactly 100 meters, and they both hit the minimum just under 500. Now let's keep moving down the list. Next, below the bolt actions, we have the other snipers, the DMRs and automatics. I mean, starting with the crate weapon, the Mark 14 EBR. Now this has a better range than the Kar98, and that is saying something. Like another airdrop sniper, the M24, the Mark 14 starts to lose damage at exactly 120 meters, which is nice, and it falls until just under 500 meters, to be honest, making it just as effective at long range as the bolt actions. Just another reason the Mark 14 is one of my favorite weapons. I mean, the Mark 14, it does 61 damage per shot as standard. I mean, the SKS does 57, and the Mini 14 does just only 45. Looking down this list of DMRs, as the damage falls, the range also happens to fall sort of like in proportion. Because one step down from the Mark 14, the SKS starts to lose damage at 100 meters all the way to 461 meters, and then shorter still, the Mini 14 starts to drop damage at just 90 meters, which ain't great for a sniper rifle. And it also falls faster, look, it falls to its minimum earlier at just 421 meters. I mean, the Mini 14 used to be my favorite weapon in the whole game, before it got nerfed to a legendary degree. Now, next down is something mysterious. In the data mined files, the VSS doesn't have any information on range, which is weird. We know that it does 40 damage per shot as standard, but for some reason we just don't know. The data mined files didn't include any information about its damage falling. It's entirely possible that, strangely, it doesn't lose damage. I mean, it's possible. I mean, it is a very unique weapon in PUBG. Mysterious. Anyway, onto the assault rifles now. This is what everyone's really interested in. I'm not going to discuss every number. I mean, you have eyes, you can see it for yourself. That's why I've put it on the screen. But let's just take a look at the noticeable stuff. First of all, with the exception of the Scar-L, which I'll discuss sort of towards the end, you'll notice that the airdrop weapons all have the best ranges. I mean, that's not coincidence. Oh, and I'm including the M249 in this chunk, even though it's not an assault rifle. Meh. As you can see, the Groza is the best by far, doing its full damage all the way to 80 meters, which is approaching sniper territory. The M249 starts losing damage at 75 meters, which is actually really great for a light machine gun. And then, of course, the AUG starts to drop at 70 meters. And on top of that, all three of these airdrop weapons actually have a great damage drop-off end distance when it stops falling. They're all between sort of 400 and 500 meters, which, as I said, is sniper rifle level. So those three crate weapons are awesome. In contrast, the usual rifles, the M416, the M16, the AKM, and the DP28, just aren't as good with range. The M416 is the best, doing its full damage up to 60 meters, but the rest all start to fall at just 50 meters. Now, the distance when the damage starts to fall is the most important stat in all of this, especially for assault rifles. The usual assault rifles having a 50 or 60 meter range is no accident. It makes the choice of using a DMR as your second weapon all the more desirable. Now, something I didn't know until making this video is that the Scar-L has the best range of any non-airdrop assault rifle. It starts losing its damage at a very respectable 70 meters, which is just as good as the AUG. Previously, I just kind of had a feeling that the M16, for some reason, had the best range, but I was just straight up wrong. In fact, the M16 is joint worst. I mean, how wrong was I? Something else worth noting is that the AKM and the DP28 have a much worse end range of only 300 meters. So all those people out there who think they know what they're talking about and say that like the AKM is great for sniping, do not know what they are talking about. Anyway, let's move on to the SMGs. Now, I couldn't fit this under the rest. I had to put it to the left. The best SMG range is the Tommy gun, which is weird since it's stuck with an awful iron sight. I hate Tommy gun iron sights. They suck balls. The iron sights with the Tommy gun are so bad that when you're firing fully automatic, the recoil is so bad as well that the iron sight just covers whatever you're shooting at. You can't see. Anyway, the one redeeming quality is that it has the best range. At least the best when it starts to lose its damage, its range is the best. But it does lose its damage faster over the next couple of hundred meters than the UMP, which starts falling at only 60 meters, but that lasts longer until 300 meters. Who would have thought that the UMP has a better range than the M16? Doesn't make sense to me. Now, predictably, the Vector and the Uzi are the worst. But the Uzi's range, in addition to its very low damage, is just pants. I mean, but fun. Fun pants. Now, the pistols and shotguns, I hadn't even bothered to include, because if you're using a pistol or a shotgun beyond, like, I don't know, 10 meters, what are you doing? But just in case you wanted to know, pistols and shotguns have a different sort of range system. They both start losing damage immediately as soon as the shell or bullet leaves the gun. And they both fall completely to 0 damage, unlike all the other weapons. I mean, don't get me wrong, it takes, for most of the weapons, it takes like over 1,000 meters to fall to 0, but ultimately they do fall to 0 given enough distance. Now, obviously, the pistols do have longer ranges than the shotguns, and of the pistols, the revolvers and the P1911 actually have much longer ranges than the P92 and P18C. Oh, and another note, the crossbow actually has the same pattern as pistols and shotguns. The damage falls from point-blank range, and it falls forever, but with the crossbow, the damage drop is very, very slow. There's almost no damage loss, even at like 1,000 meters. It's the slowest damage falling weapon in PUBG. Anyway, that's it for this video. As always, I hope you found this useful or interesting at the very least. I mean, I love me some stats. I always have and I always will. Like this video if you liked it, like this video if you didn't like it, subscribe if you want to see more similar content, and I live stream almost every single day over on Twitch. There's a link in the description to my Twitch channel. Liquid Blitz, out.